because so this next game was originally called Soulmates, Soul as in S-O-U-L, and it was a totally different game, actually using these assets in a very exaggerated way. You were like in an arena, and there were all these souls around you that were like corrupted, and you were a Buntine soul. You were an angel's soul, basically. And if you interacted with these bodies, you would be able to cleanse them through a quick mini game. It would be like a labyrinth maze through their chakras and stuff. It was very weird. I didn't know exactly where we were going.
Sounds beautiful.
Hopefully this game will kind of stretch from that one. So but most of the game had to do with flying. It had to do with hovering and flying. And Shiloh was like, "You gotta make me sick." And I'm like, "You're making me sick." And so for her case and for everyone else's sickness, because I get sick easily too, I was like, okay, so instead of you moving around everything moves around you. And that was kind of also, Zach's helping me with this. That was kind of his idea as well. I was like, cool, let's do this. So I'm trying to keep all of my projects lore driven, having to do with the games I'm working on the side. So that being said, I was like, okay, so instead of being a Buntine soul and going across these different worlds and cleansing these people and trying to find your soulmate, your host, let's take a step back. Because the lore in my game is when a person or being dies, their soul goes into the native sun of their planet. And it's cleansed within the sun and is sent back down. So with that being said, I'm like, what if we were actually the sun god within the sun, cleansing the souls that we were sending back down? And that's where the idea for this game came from. And now it's actually called Soulmates, S-O-L mates. Punny. I love the puns.
Me too.
So hopefully this will load a little fast. I should have been loading it now. Yeah, I still got both versions just in case. Again, a decent idea. I think it would work better in a different platform, possibly not the Google Cardboard. Thank you, Shiloh. I was just joking with you. Love you. Like I said, this is a very slow computer, so I'll probably just go ahead and start talking about it a little bit. So what were my goals for this milestone? So my goals, like everyone else, is to create the basic idea, create the prototype, the white box model, and I'd actually done most of that, but like I said, I had to rechange everything, so again, I had to create new ideas with Zach, had to create new art. So the original Soulmates was very model driven. Probably too many polygons, really, even though all the assets were low poly. So with this game, I want to create a game that's ethereal in nature. Like the only model is the sun you're within, and it's an inverted sun. It's got inverted textures. All the normals are pointing in. I've shown shake this. And what you're seeing around you will either be particle effects or sprites, and that's it. So it should be able to work very well on a Google Cardboard, and I want it to feel very, very dreamlike. And compiling scripts, my God. As soon as that gets done, I may have to show it after everyone else. But I really don't have too much to show on this one. Like I said, we haven't really got to work too much on this idea. I do have the sun. Looks like you're in a giant Dorito. You'll see it's got like fog and particle effects that makes it look like solar flares are going in and out. Here we go. We actually got some model NPCs that were originally implanted there, just kind of spawning from the outside of the sun and coming towards the center, dying, spawning, dying, spawning, dying. And I'll tell you all about the gameplay in a minute. I'm actually forgetting to talk about that. But now we've implemented some NPC sprites to where they kind of just float around, and I'll be able to show you that in a minute. But anyway, back to gameplay. Gameplay-wise, so originally it was to cleanse souls. In this one, it's to purify souls, almost the same thing. So what you're doing, you're going to see souls of humanoids. You're going to see souls of beasts. You're going to see all these different souls writhing around you in the sun. And kind of like with the bubble game, and this is why I was talking about using your script, the different souls are going to be different sizes, different colors. So you're going to have an invisible HUD, an invisible bar that's going to fill up with soul energy. And when your soul energy bar gets filled up, you're going to be able to put those souls together. Yeah, look, giant Dorito. You're going to be able to put those souls together and create a purified soul and shoot it out to one of the planets so it can go find its own host. I know it sounds really confusing. It's really, really not. So each time, and this is just some little ideas we were talking about, each time you absorb a soul, it's going to create an angelic chanting of a certain octave. And this is what I was talking about too. So let's say we absorb the little red soul. It's going to go, oh. And the little red soul, the little red soul is not enough to fill your energy. So maybe you need a bigger soul. So you see a bigger soul, you absorb that, and you go, oh. So instead of having a HUD and a meter filling up, you're going to hear this angelic singing. And the louder it gets, the more you know you're close to a purified soul. And it's going to hit a certain decibel or something to where you know. Yeah, I don't know why the right screen is darker. I do not know how to implement Google prefabs, Google VR prefabs just yet. It's something else I'm learning.
That's a good question.
But Zach just used Spriter to create these basic animations, and that's all it is. Just create different size, different shape, different looking NPCs that would be spawning in different areas. And like what you are saying, only have them spawn in a 180-degree angle, so you're not constantly looking behind you. And if you do look behind you, they'll just spawn in that certain area. So very similar. Our first HUD originally, where see these little bubbles down here? Speaking of bubbles, we were going to have every time you absorbed a soul, its energy would go in a bubble. And that would just be kind of indicative of, oh, I've got this many souls. But again, I don't want this to be very visually based except for the whole mysterious feeling and effects and stuff. I really want audio to be there too. So I think having an audio HUD is kind of an interesting idea. Again, we'll need some play testing. But this is a really simple idea. Now, this could, you could win, this game condition could be won very simply, depending on how many souls you need to create. So there's going to be one thing that's going to be running around, and that's the purple soul. So there's 5 different souls with 5 different colors. And then there's the purple one, as you just saw. It actually jumps around a bit. Oh, it's going very fast. The purple soul is one you do not want to absorb. If you absorb it, it deletes all the souls you had previously absorbed. So that's going to be added somehow to create some challenge, just so it's not so easy. And that also goes with the lore, because purple represents death, represents rebirth, represents change. And the universe that the sun was a part of originally did not know about death. Death was a virus that, I'm not going to go into that. Anyway, but yeah, I think that's kind of a simple idea, and I think it can be interesting. We can change the textures of the sun. Here, I'll show you all what it looks like. I actually used this sun idea for her game. See? It's just an inverted sphere. And some cool cat on Google had a script going on, and yeah. So I think we could do some cool ideas. And I'll just briefly go over these. Yes, I got most of my goals, even though I had to redo the game. Actually, I like to having to redo it. I like having to say, hey, you have to literally throw away everything you've done and start from scratch. Okay, and we created something maybe a little bit better than the original idea. So I like having to do that. I like the challenge and being able to.
Iteration, right?
Yeah, that's all it is, man. Should have named my games Iteration Series, The Legends of Iterations. What goals have you not reached yet? I don't feel it's an actual game yet. I still feel like we're expounding on the actual idea, but I think the way we're going is a very good way, good path. Again, we need to rework kind of the art style. I think you know where you're going with your art style with your NPCs. I got to make this sun because I don't feel like you're actually in a sun. But then again, no one's been in a sun. Other than those people in those 2 or 3 movies we've seen. Oh, it's full of stars, that sort of stuff. So I guess it's whatever I think it would look like. But I don't want you to feel like you're in a Dorito-looking fishbowl. I don't know. So I'm going to reiterate on that.
I think we can talk about that.
Oh yes, please. And I would like to be able to create like actual solar flares, like arching solar flares with the particle system, which I don't think would be that hard. Really, you just have to create some curves. Okay, so as for Dev Exchange, as for this project, I need artists. Whoever want to be artists. Zach is. I love his art. I follow him. I stalk him on Twitter and stuff. So I assume he'll be able to create what we need to create. But if anyone else wants to jump in, if we can use you, please, more welcome. Again, programming. This game literally has, other than the Google VR prefabs, has no scripts whatsoever. So just need some basic gazing and clicking scripts. Create some animations or effects when you absorb the soul. Little sound effects. So again, it's really in a horrible alpha stage, but it's getting there. And what I plan on doing for next Milestone is just making it an actual game. I think next time I present it, be able to actually play it, and there won't be any more coding added, kind of like how Shadow wants us to have for the next Milestone. Blah blah blah. Am I having fun? Of course I am. And then what is my favorite part? So like I said, I at first Soulmates was an entirely different game. I had to scrap it. Now it's an entirely new game. I kind of like the new idea better, especially because it fits in my lore. So that makes me happy. And also really like to collaborate with artists. Sadly, I haven't really, other than Mortimer's Mansion, obviously, but that was more of a group effort. That wasn't really team as much group. We were kind of individuals being interdependent. This is more being kind of dependent on one another, and that's really cool. I like that. So there's my 2 games. Sorry to talk so much.